Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode with your host, 65 Lokes. On the commute again, heading out, solo episode. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series of episodes that I've just been doing on my own like this. You know, we will get to those future interviews with guests, but for now, well, I've been just working on my models, very inspired, motivated. I just feel like from not doing interviews or anything like that, like this whole scheduling thing, because sometimes that could be like the most stressful part about getting a podcast together on the timing and all. It's like just being able to just record whenever I want to and putting it out has given me a lot of freedom to be able to build and clear my mind and to just put a lot of energy into the builds that years back I was lacking on. I wasn't really as active. I was more just behind the scenes, but it's gonna come in full circle. It's gonna come to a point where I'm gonna step back, like a little break for a little bit, or take it a little slower on the builds, and then get back on the podcasting interviews. But it's been great. I just finished the build last night, the Nissan Z wagon, and I was just tripping out when I was done with it. I was just like, whoa, like I'm done, and I was so just anticipating, all right, when is this gonna happen? Because I started to see it every day the more I worked on the car, how things were just coming together, things were fitting in. I would run into some issues, but it wouldn't really stress me out, and I would just be like, all right, what do I need to do next in order to fix that or just get around that, And even there was a part where I needed to glue the back window onto the Nissan Z, and I started using the white glue, the crystal clear, and it's the same as like the canopy glue, and I'm putting it on the side, just little small amounts with the toothpick. And then after that, I needed to glue the top, the wing in the back. With that one, I ended up using the CA glue, but the gold, the one with the black cap. And I put a very small amount of it on the two little holes, and then I inserted the wing there, and it attached. But then I don't know why, for some reason I was like, let me put more, like two more small little droplets on the inside. I guess I just wanted to really secure it, like lock it in or whatever. And by doing that, I had to flip the model upside down, and with the small little toothpick, I just grabbed a little bit of glue that I poured onto a piece of tape, and I went in and I dabbed on top of the first area. All right, cool. Went back, grabbed another little dot of glue, came back, did the second part. But by doing the second part, it was almost like if some static was being built in there, because as soon as I started pulling away the toothpick, I could see the glue just kind of string right there. And what happened was it just was pulled into the glass to the rear, and I was like, oh dang, the glass looks clean, but you see that little thing, it almost looks like a hair, or smaller than a hair. It's really small, like the string, but it's there's no coming out. So then I even use I try to use tape, lay it on top and peel it to see if it'll come. It won't come off, so I just let it be. And then later on throughout the build, so that was one thing. Later on through the build, I noticed that the rear window wasn't really glued properly. It seemed loose in some areas, and I was like, dang, I need to correct this. So I just took out the back window. I was like, all right, I'm taking you out. So then by doing that, I ended up by taking out the back window, ended up cleaning out all the glue, that I had previously added on there. Cleaned all that out, and then I had to take some of the glue off the window, the back window. But by doing so, it was gonna pull some of the black paint that I had sprayed on the interior of the glass, on the edges. And some parts it did, but it didn't trip me out like, oh man, I'm gonna have to redo this back mask and go to the airbrush booth. Nah, it was like all I had to do was get a marker, and I have one of those black Gundam markers, and then I ended up just touching it up in a small little area, and then just adding paint around the edges of the window, and that was it. It looked the same, like if nothing had happened. But I also decided, what if I went in there and I used my my Scratch X like polishing to apply to the glass. Maybe I wonder if it would come off, because I was even thinking about sanding it off, but I was like, you see, if I sand this, it's just gonna ruin it, and I'm just gonna open up a can of worms. I'm just gonna go down a path I wish I would have never gone down. So the polishing was the least thing that I was like, all right, at least I'll do that, and I did a little bit of it. It didn't do much. If anything, it just cleaned the glass and made it more cleaner, and I was like, all right, cool. So one tip, since we're talking about glass real quick, is if you guys have the Meguiar's Scratch X, and whenever you start with Meguiar's, the pad you're supposed to always use with that one is the green one, right? The one that's very coarse when you're getting started with your polishing process. Well, when you want to clean your glass, even if you look at it under a mirror and it's like it's very clean, it's not scratched, or you do notice a little bit of scratches, maybe you're working on an old like AMT kit that's been around, for 30 years or so, or 40, and you want to touch up that glass, you want to bring it back to life. There is a way. All you need to do is get the Scratch X, get a Q-tip, grab some of that Scratch X compound, and like just spread it around on one side, or even just on the half part of the glass, and get your Dremel. If you have the Dremel, to set it at speed 5, which is the lowest speed, and also place, instead of using the green coarse grit, use the red one that's like the softest, that's really not even coarse at all. Use the red bit, and then turn on the Dremel, put on number 5, and then just start going from one side to the other, back and forth, up and down, and you're gonna notice that it's gonna polish it. It's gonna get rid of the Scratch X compound is gonna help get rid of all those tiny little scratches. But since you're using the pad that's very soft, it's not the coarse, it's not digging into it either. I remember seeing a video. I didn't come up with this, so the person who I like to give credit to that I saw, I don't know, maybe you guys seen this somewhere else, but with my eyes, what I saw online was from Giuseppe. He's a very high skilled model builder. He's also on Instagram, very, very active. And I saw him doing it there on one of his vids, and I was like, yo, I need to try that. And just from talking to him, I wanted to confirm, yo, like, is this what you did? He's like, yeah. So I started doing that with a lot of my glass, and it brought it back. Like, there's definitely a lot of shine on the glass, and it just looks cool. Like, I really like what I did with those with a lot of my latest like glass pieces on there that I add, because it trips me out, like all the things I've learned now, through all the artists that I've met through the years, and looking back at a lot of things that I never did, when you're starting off, because I had no idea. And do I wish I would have known? Maybe, yeah, but then again, it would have took a lot of the fun out, because I feel like when you're new to something, you're very open-minded and you're very experimental, right? You want to do it your way, your ideas. It's like you get a model and someone who doesn't even model build sees what you're doing, or you show them your model and you start to explain to them, hey, check it out, look, this model here, I'm gonna paint it this color, all this right here, I'm gonna fill it in, you know, I'm gonna do custom seats or the interior, you know, you start just throwing ideas out there. Like, you already visually in your mind see the car for what it is, like how you want it, your style, you know. And over time, you know, you start to develop your skills from trial and error. But what keeps you pumped and motivated is because that vision that's stuck in your head, you're trying to reach that vision for that car. And if you don't achieve it, you try it on the next one and the next one, and you keep going at it. But at the same time, you feel fulfillment and happiness with building this model, and you're not distracted by electronic things, you're not distracted by the internet or anything, you know. All your focus is on what's in front of you right there. You're still using, you know, hand coordination, your hand skills, you're thinking a lot, you know, it's just like you're thinking, you know, everything's plan A to B to C all the way to Z, you know. Every move you do, you're just, you know, you're thinking about it. The more models you build and the level that you start to get up, you start to get more precise and calculated. That's when, you know, you really want to get it to scale. You really now know what I need to do first, and then second, and then third. You know, how to follow more of the direction. The level of patience starts to grow. You know, but at the same time, you know, looking at all that as a positive, it could also affect you as a negative too, because you could like all of a sudden just like throw all that out the window and get stressed out or mad. You know, a lot of things can happen, definitely. And even people that are like a high level building, sometimes those things happen to them too. So it's not just you, like, it's everybody. You know, this could happen to everybody. You know, it happened to me at times, and at some point I just kind of learned to just accept it, live with it, or, you know, kind of laugh it off or whatever. But yeah, there were times where I would be like, man, you know, and I always wanted to get back, and I remember this about myself when I was younger, is like, if I would do something or build something, and let's say I'd mess up or something had happened, I'd try to go back and refix it, right? Thinking like, oh, if I just like move it a little here or touch it up a little here, like I'll probably kind of get it better, or I might fix it. Now that I would just make it worse. I would end up like the thing would come off, I'd break it. Like I would just make it really worse. And that would bother me, because I'd be like, oh my God, I should have just left it. So if I was already feeling regret for like kind of messing up, I felt even more regret for like going back in that moment and re-messing with it. So, and that happens. I've heard other people tell me that without me ever saying anything, and I'm like, oh dude, like I could relate to you. Like I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's a trip, because now sometimes that happens. Like I'll glue something and I'll be like, oh dang, it's a little crooked. Oh dude, what the heck? And in that moment I go, well, wait a minute. I'm kind of good at going back and like, you know, making things kind of fall apart or whatever. So no big deal. So then I find a way and I get it out, and I'm like, cool. And then I go, damn, that's crazy. Like back then it would bother me. Now I'm kind of happy that I kind of know, or I'm looking at the angle as to like, how can I pop this off? And now, you know, take things off, re-glue them, put them back, and I'm like, dope, I got a second chance. So that's the thing with model building too, is like there's these second chances you get sometimes. You know, there's a window of when you can get a second chance. Not all the time, but when you do, just do it, you know. And with this Nissan Z, I mean, it taught me a lot of things. As like perfect as I wanted it to get. I mean, I wasn't really thriving for perfect. I just wanted it to look a certain way, and that's it, you know. And there was a little hiccups here and there with things, but you start to learn how to cover those things up, once they appear. Or I remember like the roll cage, it was just gray with primer. I had primered it a long time ago, and what I should have done is I should have gone back to scuff it a little, like lightly sand it, because that primer had been dry and cured, and it was almost like it just obviously molded to the cage, but there wasn't no tooth on it. It was too smooth. And what I should have done is I should have like wet sanded it, really lightly, or just sanded the whole thing, as much as I could, not in every little crevice, but in the exterior, and reprimer it again, just so it's activated again, and a little bit rough with the tooth. And then I should have airbrushed it, But then again, I airbrushed it, and it's so funny that, I didn't want to clear it either, I didn't want it to be all glossy and shiny. No. Just like more of a kind of a flat color with a little bit of shine, sort of, like if it's glossy, but without the clear. So I sprayed the the splash paint upholstery red, but on the roll cage. And I always used the upholstery colors for the roll cages, and I liked the way it looked, so I was like, oh, cool. So then I installed the roll cage, my interior, and then I started doing little mock-ups, right? But then I noticed is that the more I was handling the roll cage, I was starting to scratch it, like a little bit of paint chipped off in one area. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, I really don't want to go back to the booth and paint this thing, I just didn't want to. So I grabbed the red marker, I shook it up. All right, I'll just touch it up right here. It's just a little dot. And I touch it up. All of a sudden, that little scratch and the thing just got bigger, and I was like, oh, what the heck happened, And then I started to think, oh, I know why. The paint, it's there, but it's not gripping to the primer as good because it's so smooth. I'm starting to chip it off. And that's when I started thinking, oh, I should do it. But I was like, whatever, it's too late, no worries. So then I kind of pre-mocked the car, putting the roll cage in there. The body with everything, right? With the roll cage and everything. And then I'm peeking through all the windows real close. And it looks dark in there. There's no lighting. But I just started to just peek, trying to find it. And I couldn't see it. I couldn't find it. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm in the clear. But then I also thought, well, look, worst comes to worst, if I could still see it, then I don't got to go to the paint booth and do all this stuff, and then clear my airbrush after, get all the air. I'm making it sound like dragging it like it's a hassle. It's really not, but, for something that's so small, I was like, I don't want to be doing all that jazz. So then I just thought, worst comes to worst, I'll cut out a piece of water slide decal, and I'll just slide that over it, and boom, there it is. You won't even know. It's just, oh, cool, a little decal. But that's if you could see. But since you can't really see in there, there's no even reason to even waste the water slide decal in there, because you're not gonna see it, And I was like, all right, well, that'll be it for that, And I just let it chill on that part. This time around, for the seatbelts, instead of using the seatbelts from Zoom On, I decided, you know what? I've already done the Zoom On ones. Let me try something different. Let me try the ones from Edward, right? This is a company from Czech Republic. Not sure if it's from Prague or where, but it's from out there. Beautiful country. And I was just like, you know what? Let me try these out. So, when you get the set, it shows it on one side, like you see a set on one side, but it comes with two, and that's for both seats. So I use the Sparco red seat belts, 4 points, the 4-point seat belt, and it's a photo etch piece. These seat belts are already pre-painted, and they're very, very easy to work with. All you got to do is just look at the directions, and that's one of the things I like, the directions. They're very clear and straightforward right there. So you get 2 seat belts and instructions. And I was like, yo, this is cool. So just make sure you have the proper tools. The ones I recommend to do it and get it really clean, and this way you keep moving forward and not having to struggle, is make sure you get a pair of those Tamiya photo etch scissors. Also, your hobby knife. And the last thing I'd recommend is Tamiya makes these nice tweezers, bendable tweezers for photo etch. Get a pair of those. And also they have this other photo etch. It's a bending tool, and there's one where the nose is really long, and then there's one that's really short. I use the long one. Later I'll take a photo of that and post it on my stories on Instagram. Maybe a post, but those are the tools that you'll need. So with the hobby knife, you cut out the photo etch. There's like 3 little stems for the most part, or 2 that you need to cut out. You cut those out, right? But don't cut it as close to the photo etch piece. Cut it as far. So this way, when you pull out the seat belt, you're gonna notice, okay, I have the seat belt off of the tree now, but there are those little stems which almost look like little spikes. They're sticking out from the edges of it, right? That were attached to the tree. This is where you're gonna get your photo etch scissors. So the scissors, you put them as close as possible, and once it's there, you just clip them, and you're gonna see that those scissors will clip it clean on the edge, and you don't got to do anything else. It's already smooth, it's flush, and you just clip all of them. And then from there, you get your bending tool, and just follow the instructions. It tells you exactly where to bend on the seatbelt. You start bending that, and you basically are just building your harnesses, everything. And it looks crazy, because when you're done, it looks very realistic. Like the material, it looks like the stitching it shows. It looks real. It gives that illusion like it's really ribbon material. And what I liked about it is that when you use the long nose bending tool, you go in there and you apply that pressure and you bend it, and it's like you lock it down, dude. Like once it bends and you clamp it on, you could always go back and unbend it, but it's not gonna unbend on its own. Like it's gonna hold really good right there. And it didn't take me that long. I did it all in a short amount of time. And once I was done, I needed to glue those onto the seat, because I had to bend them kind of to the contour of the seat, but at the same time, I didn't want them to move around and be all over the place. So I grabbed a little bit of the CA glue, but the gold, the one with the black cap, and I went ahead and I put that on there. And I carry those on the site too. And all those other tools I mentioned, I also carry them right there. But the black gold, I just applied it on the backing part. A little bit of glue, not a lot, because the less glue you put, it dries faster, And I'm also starting to step away from accelerator. I'm starting not to use it anymore. I used to have a bottle on my bench all the time. I don't even have that in my bench anymore. I put it away unless I'm doing, like body work or something where I really want something filled in fast and I want to continue working, and I'll bust out. But just for these small things, nah, I don't need it. I just need a small little amount of glue. Got the seats done. The excess seat belt on the back, I had it running through the back. I had to cut half of the material off because I didn't need that much. And then since it's photo etch, I grabbed another tool and like a round tool, and I had to like kind of fold it, but like in a round mold, like to mold it around, right? So it has that curve. So this way I could like roll that around the seat belt, not the seat belt, the roll cage in the back, right? Almost like, you know how they do it in the 101 scale cars. So I was like, all right, cool, that's done. So, you know, everything just started to come together. And that's, since I was like moving at a fast pace, you know, I was working on it like Sunday night, Monday night, and I was staying up till midnight. And then even last night I stayed up till like midnight. I was like, oh damn, I think this is it, I'm done, you know? And I just like put the car together, took some photos, quick photos, put it away. And that was it. And I was like, you know what, I'll take a look at it, you know, later when I get back from work or whatever, when I get back home. And I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna stare at it and see if, you know, if there's anything I need to still like add or whatever. And because I could still revisit the car. Like, I didn't completely glue it from the bottom. It just snaps on. Like, you fit in the back part where it receives the back portion, and then as you're putting it, let me see what happened here. Oh, there we go. As you're putting it from the I thought I disconnected from one, sorry. When you're putting it from the front part, it just like clips on right there. All right, so man, I had to stop it real quick just because I kept getting like an alert or something. Well, we're back. But the with the Nissan Z, like I was saying, I could revisit it. I just basically like popped it back in, and it just like locks in from the front. You know, I don't have to put any glue, so I could still unpop it off and like bring it down, you know, and reopen it. But a lot of times, you know, once the model's done, that's it. You know, I don't want to like mess with it or whatever. But I mean, it's still fairly fresh on my mind. Like, I'm just tripping out like, oh man, it's done. Because I remember it spent for the longest time, months, in my little case, my work in progress case. And I'd be working on other stuff, and that car would just be chilling there and chilling there and chilling there. And, you know, and then finally till now, and I don't know, to me, I just feel like that's like a reason why, you know, I'm glad I waited on it, but also like a reason for it was like meant to be, like the timing, you know, it was meant to be prolonged. It was meant to take this long, because I used House of Color paint on the car and the clear and everything, and I really like the way it came out, you know, even you know, using custom paint on a car, you know, it ended up working out for this style of car, because you don't really see too many cars like this, you know, especially like Nissan Z. If anything, it's more like just like the factory colors, what it comes with, you know, and not too much of a custom. But to me, it's just learned a lot from it. You know, learn from some mistakes that went on, you know, what to do first, second, like with the instructions, you know, especially like that part of the rear with the glass and all. In the instruction, I mean, not that it says it, but just from when you install, it's recommended to install the glass first and then the wing on top, because it lays over it. But then there's a part of me that's like, I should have just done it in reverse. I should have just put the wing in first, had that glue locked down, and then put the glass, you know. And I didn't do that. But it happens. I mean, it's about learning. And even if I attempted to redo this car again, you know, and avoiding those mistakes, I might, avoid them, but then I might fall into another mistake, a different one, you know, that didn't happen on the first one. So it is what it is, you know. No big deal. You know, these models that I'm doing, they're for personal. Like, those are my little trophies, you know, for whatever skills I've learned from them, and I just put them in their case and tuck them away on my bench. And every so often, like, I'll look at them, I'll look up and see the progression or see where they're at from there, and just keep continuing on the next and on the next. So now that one is completed, I'm gonna go back and start working on the Kingswood, the model kit that's from Australia, where it's a 101 scale car from out there too. So that model, I just have to re-clear it, and the body is pretty much done as far as paint, and then the inside, the assembly, that's what would be next, is the assembly part for this car. And then once I get that going, that'll be another car that would be done for the books too. But aside from that, I mean, I know you guys, I've already posted photos. I also have the Pandem Rocket Bunny AE86 Toyota car that I have right there on my bench. That one that is actually chilling inside the work in progress case. That one's there. I already have the color in mind of what I'm gonna do with that car. So as soon as I'm starting to work on this Kingswood and getting closer, further on, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on that one. Start getting it going and painting and doing all that process. I've already done a lot of mock-ups with it. Everything's been primered, so I just have to basically gather up, get my colors and just start spraying and going from there. So that's also going to be another fun project right there. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to come next. I mean, right now I'm kind of getting inspired by a lot of different things, different styles. I did take a break from certain genres of building. I haven't built a lowrider car in so long. I haven't built a custom car in so long. So, hopefully this year I get back and I revisit some cars that I took away, that I was working on, and then I just kind of just chilled off them. I think it's gonna be time to come back and at some point this year and revisit them, put some work into them, and hopefully get them done. So now that I have the paint right there, the airbrush, there's really nothing holding me back but myself and my ideas on these builds, and I gotta get them done. But man, it's such a good feeling. It's very rewarding when you finish a model, because I remember times back then of just starting one up, not finishing it, going to the next, starting it up, not finishing it, and then making that a pattern, over and over and over and over. And then after a while, I'd just get over these cars, and I'd be like, man, I don't think I'm ever gonna revisit this or finish it. It's kind of like whatever to me right now. And I remember the very first time I ever vended. This was this had to be the year 2020 in February. So this is before March, before they announced about the pandemic and closures and all this, right? So January of 2020, we had found out that we were gonna have a baby. So I was it was basically right after New Year's, And I was like, dang, okay. I was like, well, that's it. It's a wrap. I gotta get rid of a lot of these model kits because there's gonna be no time for me to build or anything, you know? So I ended up, you know, like looking at all my stuff, and I remembered the closest show that was going to happen was going to be in February in the city of Camarillo, and this was the event hosted by Ventura Hobby. So I'm like, all right, I'll sign up, I'll get a table. So I did that, got a table, and I brought a bunch of kits, some new, a lot of them were just open box, some pre-built, some missing parts, you know, even things that I just bought through the years at swap meets. And I also brought like rattle cans, you know, all these things, like whatever basically I had, everything. I think I brought like everything except for like, you know, house of color paint and like maybe some projects that, you know, I was still working on that, you know, wasn't done with, and I just knew I'd just put these away and that's it, you know. I'll mess with them later, maybe. I don't know. I really didn't know what was going to be, what to expect, right? First time being a father, upcoming father, so I was like, dang, I don't know what's going to happen. So I started selling my stuff, and people started coming through, and a lot of those pre-built and, you know, semi-started kits that I was torn between, like, oh man, I bought this kit, I started it, and like now I'm not gonna like build it, and I almost felt like, oh, poor model, like what a waste, you know, I'm not even gonna. But when I got rid of, you know, I was like, all right, you know, I saw how people were reacting. People would be like, hey, can I open them? Like, go ahead, because I would put little stickers that would say like pre-built or missing parts, whatever, and they want to look. So they would look at it, and I just saw like some excitement in them, going like, oh man, like telling their friends, I could do this to this car or this to that, you know, or maybe I could just, you know, da 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 da. And I was like, oh wow, I was like, cool, you know, this car is hopefully gonna get built someday or whatever. It's going to a new home. So I just started getting rid of all this stuff, and it just felt good. Like I was just like, oh, I'm like, you know, less things to have. All that stuff was gone, and even like the newer kits, they were starting to disappear. The kits I never even opened. I bought them, I had them in the stash, never opened them, but they were starting to disappear. Eventually, what ended up happening? Oh yeah, like the spray cans, I put them for cheap, for like $1, $2, because some of them were open. Like I did some sprays, but they still had paint in them. These were all like Tamiya, you know, lacquers, and people were just buying them. Boom, boom, boom. You know, my glues, you know, extra, whatever, knobby nice blades, whatever. Like, it was just being gone. And I didn't completely sell out, but I did leave lighter, you know. And I was like, dope. So then all that money that I made, it was like, all right, I'm saving. This is for whatever we need to buy right now. You know, this is going to start things, right? And right away I was like, yeah, all that money was used, you know, to buy like a crib and whatever else, you know, small little stuff that, you know, because it's not like I made a killing or whatever, but whatever. It was just like, that's all it was for. And I put everything away, you know. I didn't want to have paint in the room. I didn't want to have glue, none of that stuff. I put all that stuff away. I think I even left it at my parents' house, because I just didn't want to like be around it, because then I was going to be tempted to want to build, and I just, you know, I wanted to more focus on the priority, you know, with the baby coming our way, and like making sure we're cool. But then, you know, once, you know, like pandemic was announced, things were closed, and then I wasn't working, I was just at home all day. I was like, damn, I gotta do something, you know. And I mean, for modelers, you know, we're already used to being home, being by ourselves, and just doing our own thing. So it was like, oh, this will be nothing, you know. And it's crazy, because there's a lot of people where, you know, this kind of stuff messed with them psychologically. You know, it made a lot of people depressed, anxious, or just very like alone and very like, because you had all this time to think, right? All this time, it made couples closer, or it made couples like, you know, want to pull each other's hair out. Like, you know, divorces happen. It was crazy. So, I mean, for modeler, I mean, it's easy, you know. If as long as you do the chores around the house and you do your part, they do their part. That's it. And nothing else. No one needs nothing. That's it. All right. You know where to find me. And it's like you got your own time, you know. Everyone has their own time, and boom, you don't got to worry about nothing. So then, I mean, for myself, I was just like, I know I could watch TV, but I'm not really too big on that. Like, you know, I could watch a movie here and there, or a show here and there that's interesting, but that's it. I'm not 24/7 like glued onto the TV, you know. So I want to do productive stuff. So then that's when I was like, man, what else can I do that's not gonna like, where I don't really require like glue and certain things, and then that's when, you know, I was like, oh yeah, like the Gundams, duh. So I started busting out my Gundams and all that, and I went a little Gundam crazy right there, and just like, you know, building all those, and you know, the rest is history. You know, baby came and everything was dope, and I wasn't even thinking about model building. I wasn't podcasting. I wasn't doing anything. It was just baby, and it was so fun and cool, because like I knew that this is the first time this is happening, and it's just like I gotta enjoy all this stuff, you know. And thanks to everybody too for telling me enjoy it, because they go fast, and it's so true. I listened, you know, and I enjoyed it. I still look back at videos, photos, and I just trip out how old my daughter is compared to then. Like she's gonna be turning 3 next week already, and I'm going, dang, like it's a trip, you know. And I've been very lucky to like be with her like all the time, and like, you know, work from home and do all this stuff, and just being able to be with her has been very important for me, you know. So it's a trip, but you know, going back to what I was saying about like builds, you know, we open builds up, and you know, about the pattern of like not completing them, and you know, it's like a 50-50. On some you want to keep because you don't want to give up on them. You're just waiting for that spark to come back. But then there's others where there's just nothing. Like, it's like you hit a dead end, and there's just nothing's gonna come out of it anymore, you know. And like, yeah, you could build it, but you're not really gonna be like happy with it, you know. You're just gonna put it away, and that's it. You know, it's a done deal. So yeah, it's kind of a trip. It's kind of a trip, but I mean, you just have to make those decisions for yourself of what you want to do. Do you want to keep it? Do you want to get rid of it? You know, and yeah, at this point, I'm just more trying to go for builds that get me excited. The excitement builds. You know, there's as an example, like White Chocolate in Spain. He's been producing body kits, right, for Hondas, Volkswagens, and it's just, there's all these like different things he does, he creates, and what I like about it is that he's touching on a niche of things that are not being produced, you know. And you know, meeting him in person was awesome, but I also got to see his builds in person, and I got to understand a little bit of where he's coming from, like as how passionate he is about being true to, you know, what came out with Honda, these parts and this series. And you know, to me, I'm still new to a lot of things regarding Honda, right? On different series, the Type R, Sir, all these things, they're still new to me, right? I'm learning as I go. And I've never claimed that I was like this guru dude that knew all this stuff. No. Like, I'm learning as I go. But I know he knows a lot about it, you know. He's owned, you know, Honda and other, you know, vehicles, and they grew up around this stuff and they see it a lot. And I'm sure, you know, they've explored it and everything, right? And it's the same with like my friend David, and they're in the same crew. Like, they know a lot about Honda cars. So I'm always like a sponge. Like, whenever they talk about it or they say stuff, I'm like locked in. I'm listening, you know. But with that said, I know that, you know, White Chocolate's products are always going to be on point. You know, they're going to be precise, to scale, fitment, and at the same time, something that's different, that hasn't been produced, that you really don't see other model builders. Like, for example, I bought some seats from him. He produced some seats, and I started to kind of search the seat, and I was like, yo, these seats are dope. And I ordered a bunch for my models, right? Just to have as options. And I put them in this little case and have a bunch of seats in there. But it's so dope that the seats he produced are different from the seats that Zoomon produces, for example, you know? Like, if it's like the Sparkle Recaro seats, it's a different Recaro seat. Like, it's not the same seat. So it's like, oh, dope. I have another option now, right? But now I'm knowing, yo, this is a White Chocolate, like seat, you know, that he produced to offer to us. And you know, he has his sets of wheels. So he does like different things. But going back to the body kits. So when I did my my Honda EF9, you know, this was one of the Nunu Hobby kits, and the car is more of a race car, right? But I wanted it to be, you know, the inspiration was a Kanjuzoku car from Japan, and you know, I needed to, like, I guess, switch the car up. I needed to modify it to more of a street car, more of a you know, like an EF9 that like, you know, someone's parents used or whatever when they came out, and now the son owns it, and like, he just modified it, and he's just, you know, going crazy on the streets or whatever, right? So the cool thing is, you know, White Chocolate had the body kit for that. And it was, you know, it was a front bumper, rear bumper, the exhaust, and then these like caps that fill in the sides for these holes for like I believe it's the gas tank, but not the original gas tank. It's like the more modified style of gas tank. And with his kit, I got to make this more of a reality, and I finished and I did the model, you know, and it's just like he recently came out with this like CRX kit that looks really dope, and I picked one up, and I got it in some weeks back, and those are the things, like, I look at the model, I have the CRX model, and then I look at that body kit, and that's what gets me excited. Because I'm like, if I built the CRX, it's going to be a different type of CRX. And hopefully it brings attention, awareness, that more people would want to build a CRX with his kit, his body kit, you know. But it looks cool. Like, but he has a ton of other stuff too that he produces. And he even has like a kit for like the S2000, and you can just see the differences. Like, it's a trip how like some mods switch up a car and just makes it a whole lot better, you know. But I try not to sleep. Like, when he busts out with something, like, I support, cop it, I get it, and those are the little things that bring that excitement to the model, you know. But yeah, it's been crazy. Like we got so much stuff out there being produced. You got Iceman Collections producing stuff left and right, not only for models but also for like diorama pieces as well. Gavin out in Japan, I mean, dude's been killing it, producing beautiful wheels. You know, he just recently announced the Cadillac, these like spoke wheels that look so dope with the white wall. And it makes me like, man, I wish I had some of those like vintage Johan Cadillac kits, you know, to put some of these wheels on. Those big old long stretch bodies, slammed, you know. When I see wheels like that, I always think of like David Anthony Garcia, even like Willie, because I know those dudes have and build those kind of models to use those kind of wheels that I know that they make it look badass, like all slammed and stuff. So it's cool, man. Like, you know, there's things being produced for everybody, you know. You know, everybody has like something, their thing. Even like just recently, Dutch Dog 3 Models, he created this, he like designed it and 3D printed this lift kit for a Silverado he did, and he just posted those final photos last night. Well, I saw it this morning. I'm pretty sure from last night. And dude's got LEDs in there and everything, man. And it just looks dope. Like, it looks so dope. It looks like a real car, like a real truck, you know? And I can't wait to see that at a show. But you see, that's the thing. A lot of people are doing various different things to their cars. You know, people are just, you know, building. They're either designing for themselves or those that are designing to offer their products for others. You know, we have the best of both worlds right now with a lot of these products that are coming out. And, you know, as far as like my store, like for myself, you know, I keep having to pivot and change things to make it exciting for myself, but also for my customers, you know, to come back and purchase items on what they need, you know. And an update that I'll give that has changed, I know I had mentioned about shipping, right? Now, a lot of the stuff that I've been shipping out has been going out like priority mail. So a lot of things have been arriving to my customers within sometimes one day if you're in California, or two. And if you're like in the East Coast, you know, whether it's Florida, New York, Boston, you know, Michigan, you know, wherever, like, it's been like you'll get it in 2 to 3 days, or 3 days, and it's there. Packages are insured, you know, so it's a great feeling knowing that all these packages are going out fast. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, before I used to offer first class mail and priority, and, you know, first class mail, it takes too long. It's like 5 days. It is cheap, but it's just like, man, if you pay a little more, you'll get the item even faster, you know? And you could definitely, like, you get to use it quicker, like have it already there, especially if you're in the middle of a project and you run out of like some material and you don't have a hobby store or whatever near you, you know. So it was just cool to like now, and it's such a trip because remember I had talked about the whole like the UPS thing. I was a little worried, like, man, how am I gonna ship my stuff out? Because, you know, if these guys go on strike, I'm not gonna be able to ship through them, and this and this and that. And it's such a trip that they got everything sorted out, right? And starting like that Monday where they said they were going to start like the protest, but didn't happen because everything got sorted before that. Like every order that I shipped out, like for like that whole week, I ended up doing priority mail on everything. Not once did I purchase a UPS label. Everything was USPS, and that tripped me out. I was like, what the heck? And even this week, I maybe just shipped one package that was UPS and everything. And I was like, damn, that's a trip, I don't know how this is going down, but as of late, but I did notice something though. I think I almost have a feeling they've kind of, I don't know if they've gotten rid of or they're going to be getting rid of first class mail for small packages. Should be called USPS ground something, right? That's what they're offering. Because I noticed first class on my options doesn't pop up no more. Now it's the ground one. But it's the same timing, like 5 days. 5 days! That's a long time, And I've been noticing that. And I noticed like even the rates, they're trying to lower them a little. Just a little, right under UPS. Like trying to compete with them. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But that's as of late is from what I've been seeing on there. But anyway, that's the shipping portion of things right now. The other thing is like tools, right? There's tools. In the beginning, I was carrying a lot of different tools. I wanted people to have different options because I know people have different likes, and people stick to different things. If there's people that are Tamiya heads, and that's all it is. It's all Tamiya products for tools. There's people that are like between Tamiya and God Hand or all God Hand. Everyone, all these different things. So it's one of these things where I'm only sticking to the top brands that give good performance. You get good results from using these tools. And at the same time, they're accessible where I can restock when I sell out of them, right? Tools that are very hard for me to get from suppliers that are from out of the country and all that just take a long time to get here and this and this and that. I'm not really going to be carrying their stuff as much just because it takes too long, and just the business dealing sometimes it's just they want to hit you with so many fees. Like they want you to pay for all the fees, which is kind of lame, but whatever, it is what it is. And but the other ones, God Hand, definitely a staple stain, but not carrying like the full catalog, only like the stuff that the sanding pads for sure. Those things are like the best right there. We're going to be restocking soon on the Infinity model stuff. I know we've been out of that for a while, but that stuff's going to come back. And then the Tamiya stuff is like, it's always been A+ right there. It is pricier, but trust me, it's like worth like every penny right there with those pieces right there. As far as like the detail parts, the current brands that we're currently carrying, we are going to stock, but there are going to be some where once they're gone, they're gone. I don't really plan on carrying them too much, and you guys will notice that when you go to the site, if you ever see like a detail part that just doesn't come back in, and I might make an announcement, later on some stuff that like will be gone. And then also like the model kits, I'm really trying to like trim down on the kits, just to make up for. I need to make room. I need to make space. So I currently have a lot of Aoshima, Fujimi, Hasegawa, and Nunu plots. I don't really have much of like Revell AMT, and all those there, but I'm definitely trying to cut down. If you guys haven't been on my email list, go to the website, sign up for the email list, because I've made some sales online that I've announced, like 20% off, 25% off model kits, but only to people that are on the email list. I haven't even posted that on Instagram or anywhere, just because I wanted to be fair to those that are subscribed, like have them get the heads up, and just sign up. It's easy. Just go in there and just in that little box put your email and you're subscribed. And if you've already ordered from me and you're not subscribed, just update your notifications right there, because I do, all of a sudden decide, all right, I'm gonna do a flash sale on this for like 2 days, and then I'll put up the like the discount on there, either an automatic or a code. For the most part, this last one I did was a code one, that you could only get through there. So I'm gonna keep doing more. I'm gonna keep doing more on the kits and stuff like that. So this way, if there's anything you guys are looking for, you have on your wish list, just go there. But yeah, I'm trying to cut down on kits. Just try to get as much out this year, so this way I can make room for new kits, for later on the year and next year. But right now, that's kind of been like a goal for me, is to get rid of a lot of the kits that I currently have on the online site there. So keep an eye out. There's definitely gonna be like more sales coming in. But like I said, if you join the email list, those for sure are gonna be like happening more and more and more right there. So just keep an eye out. But it's been fun, man. Like, just being able to work on models, package orders with model stuff, and then spending time with family, and then later again going at it to complete my models. And it works out too, because even like during the day when I'm working from home, if I need to spray an item like with primer, I could just prep my parts, and then when the time comes, go outside, spray everything with primer. And I have a little table outside that all the parts, I just lay them on there, and I let and the sun hits that table all day, all the time. So and then plus it's hot outside. It's like 90 degrees, right? All those things help. So then the primer just cures like fast. So, and I leave it out there for a while, and then finally when I come back and I bring the part in, it doesn't even smell like primer. It doesn't smell like paint. Like, it's already dry. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I just put it in this box, or I put it away until it's time to, like, inspect everything and look at it. And if I notice, oh, there's an area I need to fix, if I have a little time, then I'll most likely sand it down, and then just re-primer, and it's good to go. It's ready to go. So it just varies as to like what is it that I want to do. Man, I'm driving next to this. I don't even know. It's a Ferrari, but I've never seen this style of car. It looks nice. It kind of looks like a race car, sort of. They're carrying it in this transport vehicle. Looks crazy. But yeah, I'm going downhill right now. I want to mention next month there's a model show, an IPMS model show. It's the first one ever that's happening in Oxnard, California, where I grew up. And it's happening next month in September. I'll give more details later. I don't want to read it. I can't read it right now because I'm driving. But it's happening next month. I did post it on Instagram. It's there with all the details if you want to. It's on a Saturday. And and it should be fun. It should be a fun show. That one. So I'll mention it more. I just wanted to bring it up right now, but yeah, that show's coming up that I know in September. Then in October, I'll be doing the Orange Con. First time ever doing Orange Con. So I'm excited about that. We got Orange Con coming up. So I'll be there for that. And then, what's the other show? In November, there's the Pomona show, NHRA. So, the one in Oxnard, it's not official yet on if I'll be vending for that show. I have been in contact with one of the promoters of the show. It's just unsure. I won't know right now till later if there's a table available, you know. So if there's something available, I'll be there. If there's nothing available, then I won't be vending. But as far as Orange Con, that's been locked in. I'm in there already. Pomona show, I'm not locked in yet. It's still up in the air. I need to. The thing is, there's a lot of stuff going down, like on my side, like personal side. So it's like this month's been like, you know, we got my daughter, my fiance's birthday coming up next week. They're like 2 days apart from each other. Their birthdays are coming up, and then so that's already, I'm busy. You know, all I'm thinking right now is birthday stuff. Next month, September, it's like there's that Oxnard show, but then later it's my mom's birthday too. And then in October, it's going to be busy because I'll have to focus on the Orange Con. But then I'm also going to a family wedding on one weekend. And then 2 weeks out, there's another family wedding. So it's like 2 weddings. Like, well, it's like the same wedding. It's just one's a celebration, like a different, I don't know, different days or whatever, different weekends. So there's a lot of that going on. And then November, I'm going to be going to Mexico. And I just need to look at the calendar. When am I leaving to Mex? When am I come back? You know, when's like Thanksgiving? And can I squeeze in doing the show in Pomona? So I gotta figure that out. And I gotta do it soon, because if I wait too long, then there's not gonna be no tables, right? So I gotta like see if I can lock that down right there, and if so, then so be it. Reach out if everything looks good. Reach out, lock it down, and that's it. I'll see you guys there. You know, but we'll see what's up. I mean, but that's kind of what's been on my mind. I mean, as much as I want to do a lot of stuff, it's just like I got all these other priorities like going down, like personal ones, and I'm like dang, you know. And it's possible, but we'll see. And then also in October, the NNL Hawaii is going down too. So that was a shot I wanted to do, but I think it's gonna be really hard. I don't think I could do it just because, like I mentioned, we got those weddings, those family weddings coming up, and I know how people get all stressed out around weddings. Like, you know, you gotta get this, you gotta get that, and I don't know, and it's all last minute things, you know. So I don't want to just add another extra thing to the plate, you know. So yeah, that's not gonna. I don't think that's gonna go down. But you know, there's a couple of people I know that are gonna be out there for that. So I mean, it sounds like fun though, you know. I hope that next year I'm able to go to Japan, and I hope that next year I'm able to go to Hawaii. You know, and also I hope that I can go to other shows too in the U.S. I would want to do like an Acme show in Atlanta. I would want to go to the NNL East. That's like in New Jersey. I would love to go to one of those, And that one's always like around April too. So, those are cool times to go. It's not hot. It's probably cold, but you can wear a sweater or a jacket and you're good. So it's not. You can control the temp, right, with what you wear to be comfortable. But I would definitely like to go and meet some people to those. And I don't know if I'd vend. Maybe, but I wouldn't bring a lot of stuff. I just bring a small bit of stuff, maybe, or maybe I'll just not vend and just bring get a table, bring my what is it, my tablecloth thing with my logo, set that up, and then just meet people, give stickers out, maybe put some models. I don't know. That sounds probably more funner. And maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. There's a lot to think about, but yeah, it would be pretty cool to come out to a show like that, But we'll see what's up, though. I'm excited about coming out over here to these shows. They're going to be going down, and it feels good that if I'm going to be there at these shows, I can bring out my models too, and I could display them. There'll be another model to be displayed on the tables for these upcoming shows. Damn, I need to stop that. I need to stop trying to talk as I'm yawning, because it doesn't make any sense. And I'm sorry if I'm making you yawn too, catching them yawns, because it happens. I'm almost here where I'm supposed to. Man, there was some traffic back there, but I should be. I'm in the clear. I'm already in the city. It's just cruising it right here. But yeah, I'm enjoying being able to just record when I can record. I got the time. Just throw on the mic. Let's go. I like doing it like that, because when you decide, I'm gonna plan it out at this time and this and this and that, and then you're trying to figure out the schedule with the guests, and schedules are totally different. That's where you start to stress a little, where you go, dang, because you want to do the interview, but then you almost feel like it might not even happen because of the timing. But I know that once everything's good to go and you're recording, you're not thinking about nothing but what's being said, right? Right there in the spot. So that's a cool thing, right there. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's up. I know I still got to do that interview with Shane. It's been a minute, man. It's crazy. These weeks have been flying by. And then another thing too, I've been going kind of hard on my YouTube channel, creating videos. With this Nissan Z, I had posted a video regarding it before it was done, and then I just decided, since I was gonna start wet sanding the body, the clear, I better do a video on this. Let me record some of this process and explain what I'm doing. And I started to do that. And then I had mentioned, maybe you guys want to see how I polish it now. So I showed all those steps, but I had to break it down in so many different videos. But they're all linked together in a playlist. So do check out the YouTube channel, and do check it out, because it's in there, all the information. And I'm basically just showing you guys hey, if you want to, because I show the model after it was clear that there's debris and just lint and all these little things that fell into it, and I'm just showing you look, all this can be corrected, and this is the way I do it. So I'm sanding it down, polishing it. I mean, not polishing, just wet sanding it, and I show you how it gets dull, like how it looks all dull, and then from there, getting to the point where I start to like I do a whole series on that. The next series is the polishing. I'm using the Scratch X, Ultimate Compound, and then the Ultimate Polish, and I'm showing that in the video too. So that way people get an idea of what's going down. But they're kind of long though. But that's how I had to break it up into parts. And like I said, they're linked together. They're there. I'm gonna continue doing more videos and posting them on the YouTube channel. So like more content's gonna be going in there. I'm gonna be doing a follow up now on this Nissan Z that's completed. So now that we did this whole polishing, this whole process, now people are gonna be able to see the final product on a video. And I'm gonna be just doing more videos for the channel, to grow it some more. And then I'm also thinking about a lot of these clips of audio that I've done from past episodes and everything, to put them on YouTube as well, because I know that you can only backtrack so much on iTunes to listen to old episodes, but you could catch a lot of the old episodes through Podomatic. So if you do a search on Google and just type in like Skill Writers podcast and then Podomatic after that, you should be able to find the Podomatic site where you could check out all the episodes from the very beginning, from the pilot episode. So I know I need to dig up episodes and just start posting them up on the YouTube channel, so they're all there for people to listen to, and I think that would be pretty dope for people to be able to just like find all that stuff right there. But do check out the channel, and all those links are on my link tree. So if you go to like my Instagram, but I'm gonna put it on the show notes too. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna put it on the show notes on these episodes. So that way it's a lot more easier. You could just click the link tree, and it should be able to like link you to everything that you decide which one you want to click on there to view. But I am already here. Thank you guys for coming with me on the ride. We made it. This is 65 Lokes signing out, episode 222. Please keep on building. Stay safe out there. And have a good day and a weekend. Peace.